All the marketers are talking about the next impending doom. Iran versus America. Might is right. We have tariffs, Trump on a war mission and wants to invade Iran. If news moved markets, everyone reading it will be rich. This is the chart between 2022 and 2026. Even Ray Charles can see that this is almost identical. We had an upthrust in 2025. The peak was at 126,000 US dollars. In 2021, the peak was at 69,000 US dollars. It formed an upthrust, headed into a vicious bear market. We had a pattern right over here and right over here. We broke down in this miniature trend line. Headed into capitulation while all the marketers were telling you to buy the dip. Likewise, in 2022 bear market, we headed into capitulation, a selling climax in both situations. Headed into this range, as you can see, and we're playing out the same range. Now, I'm not a genius, but you just have to look in the right places. Where's the 5-year cycle? Where's all the hopium and the fluff? Where are the marketers? Where are the YouTubers? Where are the influencers? They're gone. They left you holding the bags, made you believe in some fairy tale that we're all gonna make it. If you had just followed the right people, they were saying that this was a dead cat bounce. I said the same thing to you here. I said that this is a dead cat bounce, and the rest was history. We entered a vicious bear market. We all know that it's heading down, but how much further? Will this head to zero? Well, the bear tarts are going to come out and they're going to start saying ridiculous prices of around 20k, 25k, 15k, zero. Well, you have to find the fair value. What's the fair value of Bitcoin? On social media, people think that these coins will get to astronomical amounts. Or you find the bear tarts that tell you it's going zero. But why can't it just be somewhere in the middle? I tweeted right over here, before the war cries, we bounced to 71,000 US dollars. Right over here, we kissed this trend line right over here, 2022, and we spiked all the way to this trend line. If history repeats like it has done for pretty much the last 7 months, then we're heading to 74,000 US dollars. In 2022, the wick to this lower range right over here all the way to the next range was 15 days. In 2026, the wick from here all the way till right over here was 19 days. Then by the time we got from this wick to the next wick over here in 2026, it was 17 days before we broke down. Will history repeat again? In 17 days on March the 13th, 2026, will we see another capitulation moment? Here's some alpha, and a lot of folks haven't caught on to this. Every time Bitcoin makes a new all-time high in the next cycle, it gets shorter and shorter. The first one took 1,247 days. The next one took 1,066 days. The next one took 851 days. So what do you think happens next? Every cycle, the new all-time high gets shorter and shorter and shorter till the point it becomes like the Nasdaq or the S&P 500. The cycles no longer exist. It just goes up according to monetary debasement. So the gains diminish as well. For example, the S&P 500 goes up on average every single year on average by 9%. Bitcoin will eventually just follow the money supply. Ethereum looks even more spooky. We've been covering Bitcoin and Ethereum for a long time, shown exactly the same thing. Even Ray Charles can see this. We had a peak right over here in 2022, a peak over here in 2025, then headed into a vicious bear market. We formed a negative on the golden support. That was a hallmark of the beginning of the end. We formed this pattern right over here, we formed a pattern right over here, then we formed a miniature trend line just like this, and another miniature trend line just like this. We hurtled into capitulation. Now we're forming the same thing that we've done yet again, and this time the news is different. yet the price action is exactly the same. We have a lower high after another lower high and another lower high, and all the marketers are saying that we're going to drop now even further. If history repeats like 2022, we're going to see some green candles before another lower high, falling all the bears to thinking that it's going to drop now. If I show you a playback during this period, ladies and gentlemen, all the bulls thought this was the bottom. Buy the dip. Buy the dip. And you know what happened? We went down further. Let's have a look at Solana. I know a lot of folks love Solana. They think it's going to be the ETH killer. We're going to look at the price action, and like we've discussed many times, it's been in distribution for 2 years. Finally, it's broken down. And I know most of you bulltards can't believe it. You don't think it's going to go down, but let's just do a forensic. Let's really delve into how things went down. In Solana, we had a negative on the golden support. As soon as that happened, ladies and gentlemen, we hurtled down into a bear market. I believe, no. I know we're doing the same thing that we're doing right over here. Solana in 2022 was at, guess what? $77.51. Same prices as of today, ladies and gentlemen. $77. Same prices. Yet the news is different. But all the fundamentalists are going to tell you that no. This time is different. Let's get rid of some of the anomalies, some of the outliers. This was the collapse of FTX. But if we really dissect it and say, you know what, we're going to get rid of this. And instead, Solana actually ranged from May 2022 all the way to September 2023. That was a very, very long consolidation period. In 2021 bull market, we formed a shoulder, a head, and another shoulder. Further continuation downwards. The same thing applies yet again, ladies and gentlemen, but this one is elongated. You have your left shoulder, you have your head, and then finally you have your right shoulder, followed by a continuation to the downside. For the past 7 months, maybe 8 or 9 months, we've been following the same pattern of 2022. But if it does change, ladies and gentlemen, then I did tell you the blueprint, and I said we're probably going to do this next. In 2019, we wicked to, dare I say, $64,000. A final wick to $64,000. Then we had a massive counter trend rally of 63%. If we do not head into capitulation, then ladies and gentlemen, if the bulls step in, we're going to see a counter trend rally, the likes we haven't seen for a very, very long time. Now the bulltards are going to come out by their millions, and they're going to swear to you on everything. They're going to put their hand on the Bible and swear to you that this is the bottom. We have a beautiful, glorious bear market. Look at this magnificent bear market. I prayed for times like this. I really did. This is where you really become wealthy. Bear markets make you rich. Bull markets make you money. The top 100, they're down. Top 200, down by huge amounts. Top 300, down. Some of them are down for the weekly 20%, 72% for the weekly. Now there are massive misconceptions regarding altcoins or investments in general. This is the gains you need to recover from a loss. A lot of people don't realize if your altcoin goes down 90%, then your altcoins need to minimum go over 900% just to break even. It's better for you to cut your losses and buy the real king, which is Bitcoin, and the prince is Ethereum. If you want help with your portfolio or just how to navigate the markets, then join our inner circle. Bitcoin should be your largest amount in your portfolio, 71% on average. Ethereum at 12%. XRP 4%, BNB 4%, and the list goes on and on and on. You can buy whatever you want to buy in the latter stage of the bull market. This was a quick update. I'll see you guys on the weekend. Peace.